Julie, I'm going to get your reaction. We're going to play this clip, and then I'll have your take on the other side of it. This is just shocking stuff. 26 confidential human sources now revealed to be in the crowd on J6. 125. Play it.
The report reveals that there were a total of 26 confidential human sources in the crowd that day.
3 of those were authorized and tasked by the FBI to be there on January 6, 2021. We're coming up on 4 years since that day of the Capitol riot. This IG report specifically focuses on the FBI's handling of confidential human sources, or as we know them, FBI informants. For years, the outgoing FBI director, Chris Wray, has been pressed on reports of undercover agents. According to this new report, there were no undercover FBI agents. However, there were 3 confidential human sources tasked by the Bureau to be in the crowd on January 6th to specifically watch what the report states is concerns over domestic terrorism. Out of those 3, Sandra and John, 1 entered the Capitol, 2 others entered a restricted area.
Okay, so Julie, let me get this straight here. We've got to do this quick. We've got about 4 minutes. We've got 4 years about later. Now we finally get confirmation, as we've been hearing reports that there were confidential human sources. He denies them. Christopher Wray denies. He resigns, and then all of a sudden this IG report comes out. 4 years later. This should be criminal. It's shocking. Tell me what you know, Julie. What's your take on this?
So first of all, I don't believe that there were only 26 FBI informants in Washington on January 6th. No one I know, defense attorneys, defendants, researchers who've been intimately involved in the court proceedings and the cases, they don't believe that figure either. So Michael Horowitz in his report said he reviewed what the government gave him, what DOJ gave him. Well, does anyone believe that the DOJ turned over all of their files about FBI informants, especially in the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers, that are under very strict protective orders in these cases? Does anyone think Chris Wray turned those files over to Michael Horowitz? Of course he didn't. Furthermore, I had defense attorneys texting me yesterday saying when they were trying to get information about FBI informants, especially in these bigger groups, the government would tell them, well, we don't have a database of confidential human sources. Really, each field office compiles that information. There's 56 FBI field offices, but there's no central database. So how did Michael Horowitz come up with this 26 figure? And how does he know for a fact? He said 23 went on their own accord. We're really supposed to believe that? No, of course not. 88 pages, very thin, a lot of filler in there from Michael Horowitz. Another disappointing effort from Michael Horowitz. I really believe Donald Trump should fire him. He's an Obama appointee. The American public deserves detailed answers about the DOJ and FBI's role in January 6th. Chris Wray has lied under oath. Merrick Garland has lied under oath. They have prevaricated on these answers. And now we know this is a little tidbit from Horowitz. I'm sure Kash Patel will follow up more specifically and expose a lot more. But in the process, Michael Horowitz needs to go. This is so short on facts and details. And this is one of the biggest questions Americans have about January 6th.
Well, and I agree with you. So when I saw that number, at least we have a confirmation that, as you say, Christopher Wray and Merrick Garland lied. Okay, so that's a confirmation. At least we have that. But I am thinking back to Representative Clay Higgins, who, you know, it was a bombshell at the time. He was reviewing troves of evidence and claims that there were over 200 agents on the ground. And he even detailed how some of these agents infiltrated group chats and were encouraging some of the actions that we saw on J6. 1 minute, Julie.
They absolutely did, Andrew. This came out during the trials of the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers. I mean, the government stipulated, DOJ admitted in the Proud Boys, the first seditious conspiracy trial, that they had at least 9 FBI informants embedded in that group before and on January 6th. On testimony from a government witness, I believe it was an FBI agent, said in those very group chats you're talking about, there were probably close to 24 FBI informants in those group chats, ginning up their targets, the Proud Boys, right? Not saying, hey guys, let's not do this, or just sitting there silently. They were actively involved in those chats. Yeah. So this, again, only scratches the surface. We've seen what has come out in these trials, and there's a lot more. No one should believe that 26 figure that Horowitz came up with.
Fascinating.